Welcome everybody to the Backstage Pass with Jared Lee. I got a special guest this evening, Mr. Tommy John. I'm going to say Ehman, right? Hopefully that's correct. Ehman. Either way, we'll figure out how to say his last name. How people can never say my last name. I say Patro. Some people say Poitras. Some people say Patro. It's the true French person in me. So we got an awesome guest. This guy's a singer-songwriter. Tell you a little bit about him here. Tommy John Ehman has the heart and soul of a songwriter. Better, he's writing some good tunes, a desire and a passion to perform, and a deep enthusiasm for music that has driven him over a long career that has produced 6 studio albums, 10 radio singles, airplay from coast to coast across Canada, and placing on major Canadian radio charts. That's huge. He's played everything from small clubs and large venues to festivals and opened for Michelle Wright, Doc Walker, Aaron Pritchett, Hold My Beer, all along the way, as well as headlining at the Creek Festival in Big River, Saskatchewan. He has had 2 memorable performances at the CNIBs. We'll talk a little bit about that later. I Factor fundraisers at the Lake Joe and in Muskogee, Ontario, which were a true honor and a major highlight in his career thus far. So influences are like, Tom Petty, John Mellencamp, Bruce Springsteen, Waylon Jennings. They've helped this unique songwriter and musical style. So from dark, stark acoustic gems to, full-on up-tempo country rockers, TJE is always looking to write that next great song and keep his fans cheering for more. So the brand new album, his 6th title, Day Night, is an 11-song acoustic effort of some of TJE's most in perspective songwriting to date and captures his voice and performance like never before. So it was produced by Jesse Wyman, one of the greatest producers here in Saskatchewan next to Bart McKay. This new record is sure to be a hit with his loyal fans and no doubt bringing many new ones to discover his vast musical talent. So if you don't know who this guy is, you will. This guy has rocked the stage. Trust me, last year we did this little event and it was at the Capitol, and this guy puts on a great show. Very high energy. TJE's music can be found on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, CD Baby, many more streaming sites. So without further ado, I bring to you Mr. TJE. All right.
Woo-hoo! Hey,
we'll go like this.
There we go. Great to be with you, Jared. Awesome. What an intro. Holy cow. There's no way I can live up to that now.
So when did you first start music and how old were you?
I was very young. When we were I have 2 sisters and a brother, and we were very small. My mom put us in this little quartet, and we would sing at the local functions around my hometown of Craig. So I was maybe 8, 10, 12 years old in those years. So that was my first start, but I really didn't get in a band until it was maybe about 17. Started playing guitar at about 15 and then got into some bands, and then it just kind of skyrocketed from there.
And how did you get into the songwriter? Was it something that started at a young age or something that kind of progressed as you got older? How did that come about, the songwriting?
Yeah, the songwriting came first because that was the reason I wanted to learn to play guitar, was so that I could write songs. So that was like right as soon as I learned, C, D, and E, and I could put 3 chords together, I started writing songs. I mean, they were terrible songs in retrospect, but you have to write some bad ones to get to the good ones. So it was, it's been with me for a long, long time.
Absolutely. You got to slay a few dragons before you get to the princess, as they say, right?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
So everybody's got a good song in them, I know. So let's start off with a song. Okay. And we'll tell us what the song is, and I'll let you get the stage here, and then you could tell everybody and just do your little introduction, and we'll go with that. Tell us what the song is, and we'll get you on a solo here.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna sing a song that's off my Turn on the Radio album. Geez, I had a brain fart there. Off my Turn on the Radio album. This is a song that we love to play live, when you can get the crowd singing along, and it's one of my favorites to perform. And same with the guys in the band. And for our good friends out there that know, this one is called A Regular Girl. Long dark hair, pretty brown eyes, walking in them Levi jeans. She don't know, but she's alright. Always look good to me. She grew up just 3 doors down. Used to drive her home from school, and she'd sit close just to tease my heart. I sure thought I was cool. She just a regular girl girl I know, a regular girl I know. She's never too high, never too low, just a regular girl I know. Now we gone over and I moved on. I lost all track of time. I heard she married somebody I knew, an ex-best friend of mine. Well, I found my way back home that summer, searching for what I lost. She still had that look in her eye, and I lost more than I thought. She just a regular girl I know, a regular girl I know. She never too high, never too low, just a regular girl I know. Now I know my chance may never come, that's alright I guess. While I keep stumbling over my heart, you'll always be the best. She's just a regular girl I know, a regular girl I know. She never too high, never too low, just a regular girl I know. She's just a regular girl I know, a regular girl I know. She never too high, never too low, just a regular girl I know. Just a regular girl I know, yeah, a regular girl I know. Ooh, yeah. There you go.
All right. Woo!
Isn't
Isn't it so weird to not have the roar of the crowd
Yeah.
when we're doing these live shows?
Yeah, I know we've done a few of these over the past year, and yeah, you get done and you're expecting some crowd, and you just kind of go thank you, and you're hoping somebody's listening on you. Yeah, that's all right.
So let's talk about the obvious, the pandemic. We'll talk about a little bit about the pandemic. Where were you when you got the news? And about a year ago, can you go back to that point? And how has it affected, I guess, music and how you've done things a little bit differently this year?
Yeah, it was actually last November, December, and my son was telling me they're building all these hospitals, these makeshift hospitals in China, and it's like, honestly, I knew something was up, but it didn't really click in that this is something that's going to sweep the world. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when March hit, and then all of a sudden it came to me through sports because I was watching the basketball, and all of a sudden that
when they dropped the ball, they were actually making fun of touching the ball and having COVID, but he actually got sick, right?
Right, and that's where I first got wind of it, and then everything shut down after that. And that was like then it really sunk in that it's not just in China; it's everywhere now.
Yeah.
And it's been a tough year. I mean, like as far as musically goes, I mean, we've done only a handful of shows, and with some live streams, and it, for somebody that likes to be on stage and performing, it's just like it sucked.
Yeah, it basically put a big, man, how would you, a storm on our parade. Like I thought 2020 was going to be an awesome year for like how many shows we had booked, and we're booking some major festivals, and all of a sudden when the Junos get shut down, we're like, okay, the whole rest of the year is just going to go, it's just going to be like dominoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of what it was, wasn't it? All of a sudden we were hearing that the Junos were going to get canceled.
Yeah,
like 3 days before they were supposed to start, and
a couple of days before they were going to start. I think it was on a Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. I got a call from a producer and an agent saying that the Junos getting shut down, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty serious, So I was maybe it is a bad thing. But let's talk about this. What does it feel like to be up on stage? And I ask everybody this. So just from your own, what does it feel like that?
You should ask people what it's like to be up on stage. Perfect segue. Oh, I mean, when all us artists, we know, like being on stage is kind of like, that's what gives you the rush. That's what gives you, the satisfaction of, getting that return from the audience that, they like your songs, they like your singing, all that kind of stuff. So it's that instant gratification that, you don't always get when you put out a CD or they play you on Spotify. You don't know, but when you're up there on stage and you get that live feel and the excitement and the drums and the bass and I guess it's kind of addictive because we wouldn't be doing it for all those years if it wasn't, right?
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about a little bit about your younger career. We were talking, and this is just between me and you, but we'll let everybody know like where I'm from, my hometown. And you brought up a couple of places that I know for a fact you've played.
Mm-hmm.
So the Duck, the Donald Hotel being one of them. I know we had a few amazing artists, not a few, but always every weekend there was live music. And just a few doors down at the next place, it was the Lavoie Hotel, where we had a lot of great names and bands and stuff go through there. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Boy, those were the good old days for me. I first went on the road in a road band, and I think it was 1988. And honest to goodness, like those are one of the first gigs that we did was getting to the Donald, particularly. We played it a few times before we played the Lavoie, but yeah, the Donald. Oh, I can picture it now. The steam, the smoke, packed with people.
Yep.
And I got a great story. The Donald is the only place that I ever played where we were playing on stage. The EMTs come in front of us with a stroller into the bathroom, load a guy on the thing out, and we don't stop singing. I'll never forget that.
That's the Duck for you. I mean, it's legendary, and there's been memes made about that place. And anybody from my hometown and home area actually knows if you say, if you've been through the Duck, you can survive COVID.
Yeah, that's what I say. I can play anywhere. We played some of those bars, like at the Zoo in Larange. We played, and we played McDonald, and those were good learning experiences. We had a lot of fun playing there, and it doesn't matter where you are, whether it's an A circuit bar or anywhere. People are people, and they love to dance and sing, and it's a good time. I love playing there.
We played some pretty big stages, and I know you played country at the Creek, which is pretty good. So, going from bars and music festivals and everything in between, what's life like as a musician? Like you're talking a lot about on the road, and people don't realize like they just pay us and we show up when we play, and they think that's it. They don't get to see all the hard work that goes into it. It's only the tip of the iceberg. So let's talk about that for a bit.
Especially back in the day when I first went on the road, because at that time all the road bands were playing Monday to Saturday, and then we travel all day Sunday and set it all up again at another place. And it was the first 3 years of my musical life was on the road, and we maybe took 5 to 10 weeks off in the entire year. So we were playing like 40 weeks a year, every night of the week through those years. But I loved it. I was young, and it was fantastic. But even now, even if it's just a festival gig, you get up early in the morning, you load up your gear, you might drive 4 or 5 hours, you get there, you wait around, you sound check, you play your gig, and you're right. Everybody else is just sitting there, and they just see you on stage, and they just think, oh, it's so much. But you're right. There's so much more behind the scenes stuff, and that's all part of the business, I guess.
Yep. That's right. So let's share another song here. We'll talk a little bit about songwriting after this next song, but I love this tune. It's got a good storyline to it. It's got a good old country feel to it, man. It's one of those. It's gonna be a legendary song. Like people are gonna be dancing to this at weddings and stuff when they're older. Trust me. So I already know what song it's gonna be. So you'll have to introduce the song, and away we go.
This is a song I'm actually up for Songwriter of the Year at the SCMA Awards coming up this year. Excuse me, April 17th. So I thought we'd play it for you tonight. It's called Maria, Queen of San Antone, and it was released just as COVID was coming in last spring, and it actually did pretty well on the radio through Saskatchewan and throughout Canada. And it was probably one of our most successful songs so far. And it's just about a girl that leaves home because she's being abused by her father, and it's set in the Old West, and it's called Maria, Queen of San Antone. This is a story of Maria, most beautiful girl that you've ever seen. Her eyes like diamonds, her hair like gold, a figure that most men would kill to hold. She came to San Antone when she was only 17, running from a bastard who was cold and mean. Everything she owned in that suitcase in her hand, and she stepped off the stagecoach in a brand new land. Maria, Queen of San Antone, so sweet and young and so far from home. They call her name and they claim to know Maria, Queen of San Antone. She took a room at the Rounder Hotel, a little dark and dreary and a musty smell. She learned to dance and how to raise a fuss. Cowboys, they come and scream with love. Now Maria took everything she got, but there was more when she gave a lot. She had the best, she took the worst. Sometimes beauty can be a curse. Maria, Queen of San Antone, so sweet and young and so far from home. They call her name and they claim to know Maria, Queen of San Antone. They say with time that you show your age, and that each day is like a turning page. Now it seems like only yesterday that Maria came to San Antone to stay. Cowboys still come to watch Maria dance, but they barely give her a second glance. She closes her eyes, walks off the stage. No one is waiting, now turn that page. Maria, Queen of San Antone, so sweet and young and so far from home. They call her name and they claim to know Maria, Queen of San Antone. Maria, Queen of San Antone, so sweet and young and so far from home. They call her name and they claim to know Maria, Queen of San Antone. Maria, Queen of San Antone. Maria, Queen of San Antone. Woo! Yeah,
That's the best I can do for you. I
love that. That's awesome.
I got to get some sound effects going through my computer here.
I didn't realize there were so many people over there watching, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, we got 14 people on right now, so we're just gonna try and get the crowd going here. And I just want everybody to comment, where you're watching from tonight or what you thought of the performance, and we'll get back to the conversation we're having here, the interview. So I started this back in December just to find out what everybody's doing, and I wanted to do a concert series kind of every Saturday that turned into a podcast that turned into let's talk about music in the pandemic and songwriting. And all of a sudden I just had all these people wanting to be on the show, and I was like, oh, I guess I have my own show now. All right. So it's kind of like,
yeah, now you're a guru at this.
What life is like if, let's say, you're playing on stage and I pull you back and say, well, let's talk over here now. So you play your song and then we talk a little bit about what life is like, and it's like the backstage pass. People don't get to see what life is like sometimes for us artists, right?
No, I thought the name was great. That's exactly what it's like. What is it behind the song, behind the artist? Like backstage.
Yeah. So that song, it reminds me of like an old Western, right? So yeah, Queen of San Antone, and the songwriting part of it. Let's talk a little bit about that. How did you come up with the song?
The song is a part of a series of songs that I wrote about a cowboy in the Old West. And it started with a song I wrote called Gunslinger. And one song led to two, led to three, led to four. So it's a series of songs about the travels of this cowboy, who he runs into, the different people that he meets along the way, and different experiences that he has. Mm-hmm. And it's basically an album that hasn't been made yet. And that particular song, I was recording some music with Jesse, and my wife was saying, you have to record that song. I love that song. And that song was at least 10 years old. So, and I hadn't done it. So finally she prodded me to do it. So I said, okay, let's try it. And now, because the song has gone over pretty well, so now I'm kind of thinking that maybe I'll put that album together one of these days. I think it'd be fun.
I think you have a little bit of time on your hands now, a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly. And all the songs are already written, so I don't have to. I just have to record them. So
yeah, exactly. Just putting the pieces of the puzzle together and one song at a time. Yeah. So Jesse's an awesome producer, right?
Yeah.
Like I know when I first got to Saskatoon, everybody was talking about him and how magical he is, and he works with a lot of different people, and that's what I love, is being able to hear everybody's own style of music, but also having Jesse's little touch on it as well. So I'm like, hey, that sounds like it was produced by Jesse, and I'd look at the songwriting written by the songwriter and then produced by this person. I'm like, yep, I was right. So just being able to have a good ear. So we got one comment.
Oh, okay.
Great Kozak. Not bad. Is that to me or TJ? TJE.
Right on. Thank you. We appreciate that. Not bad.
My dad just tuned in from St. Paul, so he says hello. And that guy's played all over the Lakeland. So if you were to name someplace, he's probably played there.
I was reading on something on yours, and you mentioned your dad's band name, Express something.
County Express. Yeah,
was that back in the late 80s, early 90s that he would have been playing?
I'll wait for him to reply. But yeah, that's when they were on the road, and that's when they were playing beer fests and Bolloramas and weddings and, Alberta, Lakeland, Saskatchewan. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was just a kid, but they played a whole bunch of places. They even played Craven, like back when it was called, Big Valley Jamboree.
Well, that name, just when I read that, I'm like, I don't know, I could be mistaking it for something else, but just like it clicked on me. Like, that was one of the old band names that I remember from those days. So
yeah, my dad said earlier. So like late 70s, early 80s,
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, most of my childhood was spent at, Bolloramas and stuff like that, and everything in between. So that's where that comes from.
Yeah, dang, you come across it really honestly. You really honest.
Let's talk about the awards. What are you up for? And first of all, congratulations. The male artist is huge, songwriter. But I'll let you brag about that. So what are you up for?
I'm up for male artist of the year this year, male country artist of the year, and songwriter of the year for that Maria Queen of San Antone song. So,
and it's a good song, great song.
So I mean, it's pretty exciting, I mean, I've had a couple of nominations before over the years, and I've never won. So maybe this will be my year, but maybe not. It doesn't really, if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. I do it anyways. It's not going to change whether I write songs and make music or not. But it's pretty cool. Let's be honest, it's pretty cool. It's
something to put on the resume. And I was talking to different people, and they all say it's not going to make or break your career, but it'll make it look pretty good if you have that on your resume as, like, TJE Male Artist of the Year for 2021. How cool would that look? And then,
there's a nice ring to it, Jared. Nice ring.
So the awards, they're happening April 17th. They're online, so virtual. Did you do your acceptance speech already?
I did. That was like, I know last year we didn't do it that way, but this year everybody sent in acceptance speeches, and I was making mine up. But this is really weird because if everybody wasn't doing this, I feel like I was jinxing myself to give an award, a winning speech for award you haven't won yet. But
right,
everybody else was doing it, so I did it too. But yeah, I did.
Yeah, so I had to submit mine as well, and it felt really, really awkward having to talk as if you've won the award. Yeah. So you don't know if you're gonna win it or not. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna win it, but I mean, we're up against some pretty awesome competition. But I mean, the competition, I wouldn't say they're competition. I'd say our comrades they're right up there. We're working with some of the best. Like, look at Tennille's had an awesome breakout year, and her songwriting's good. She gets to co-write with other people, and the awards, they're going to be, I'd say they're going to be a good show this year, and I'm excited to see what happens and who all gets to wins, and congratulations to everybody. And honestly, just being nominated, that's huge. And even making it this far, getting to the final ballot it's a hard thing to do, and not only that, but to win.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that get involved, and there's a whole list of names and everybody, and you if you get nominated and you move on, it's really cool. But you're right, I'm as excited when a friend of mine wins. I mean, we're all like one big kind of happy family, so it's kind of cool that way.
That's right. So let's talk about obstacles. Growing up, if there were some obstacles that you may have. They could be big, they could be small. So what were some of the things that I guess maybe have been in your way that, yeah, I like to call them hurdles, for instance? Some of the things that might come to mind as a songwriter, maybe even life in general. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think as far as musically goes, I mean, singing came really easy to me. Songwriting, not since it's easy, it comes naturally. As I'm as good as I am, songwriting come naturally, and I enjoyed doing it. So it wasn't like I had to, force myself to do it. But I think probably the biggest hurdle is when I was real young. I didn't care how much money I made, where I went. But as I got a little older and I had a young family, that hurdle became, I'm not making enough money at this anymore, just playing bar circuits and stuff. So that was to figure out how to still play music and yet try to still make a living, because I wasn't, I know some artists do, but I wasn't. So I had to just figure out where it kind of fit in there. And I went back to the farm and started farming again, and just found that happy medium between playing all winters and, summers and just working. So, I mean, that was probably the biggest thing that I just had to, I wouldn't necessarily, it's even a hurdle, it's just an adjustment that had to be made.
You just had to basically juggle, how to juggle and prioritize. And you got family, you got music, and music takes up a lot of time. Even full-time musicians, they have a tough time being able to do this full time, let alone, okay, you want to talk about farming? That's 5 o'clock in the morning till 9, 10 o'clock at night when the sun goes down, right?
Yeah, when it's seeding and harvest, it's
when seeding and harvest, it's go go go. Like I grew up in a small farming town, St. Paul, and it's when harvest season comes around, it's busy, it's go, it's balls to the wall.
That's great. That's what it's like. So I know there was times like I was farming, and yet we would still go to Regina and we'd play the pump for the whole week. So I drive in is about an hour. I drive in, play till 2 a.m, drive home. I'd sleep in till maybe 10 o'clock, work all day, and then drive back to the city again. I didn't do that a lot, but I did that sometimes. That was pretty tough. I was younger then.
Did it ever catch up to you, like the lack of sleep, or?
Oh yeah, by the end of the week I was just dead. Then we wouldn't do it for a few weeks or a month or whatever. So we didn't do it all the time, but whenever we did that gig, it was pretty tough.
Yeah, take a break once in a while, right? So some of the triumphs. Let's talk about some of the good stuff that happens out of music, like when people get to hear your music and they're singing along, dancing along. The awards. I mean, you got some albums out, and you definitely have a lot of time on me for sure. But triumphs. Let's talk about all the good stuff that happens with music.
Yeah, there's been some really cool stuff. Like you mentioned at the start of opening for Michelle Wright. That's a highlight because I'm a Michelle Wright fan, and I thought that was a total shot in the dark. I had heard she was coming to the casino in North Battleford. Actually, it was one in Saskatoon first. So I got a hold of them, and they said, "Well, we're not needing anyone. It's North Battleford." Is contacted them. Sure enough, I got to open for Michelle. That was a huge moment for me. It was really cool. We got to meet her and hang out a little bit, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
Just putting an album out is a huge, great moment. And, you just open that box up and you got your CD for the first time, and or hearing your song on the radio for the first time, or even every time, is really cool.
Yeah. Each and every time. It's so cool. It's like, once you hear that, it's like, hey, your ears perk up and you're like, that's me.
That's me.
I know, that's such a great feeling. So I love those triumphs and those small victories. But Michelle Wright, what is she like? Like,
cool.
everyday person,
Yeah. We had a little chat with her after sound check, and she's just like, she has no big head. I mean, she's just like, if you're just talking to anyone, we were musicians, she's a musician, and we just chit chatted about whatever, it was just real cool. It's like no Sweet. Pretentiousness or nothing.
Yeah, like I'd figure you got to stay humble, and that's basically part of being a musician and an artist, is that you have to be humble and nice and kind. And sometimes you run into people that aren't, and that do have an ego. I've ran into a few of those over the years, but that's to each their own. So let's give everybody another song. Do you have a good cover maybe you want to do, or another original?
I might as well sing my new single. We did a cover version of Bruce Springsteen's "Hungry Heart." So, and that's actually our single right now that's out and getting some airplay across the country. And it's kind of weird for a songwriter who has just spent his life writing songs to release a cover song, but hey, every once in a while, it was just something different to do during COVID times, and that's really all it was. And we love the way it turned out, and it's pretty cool. So I'll sing that for you, all right?
Hungry Heart, here we go.
See if you remember this one, folks. Oh yeah. Oh. I got a wife and kids in Baltimore, Jack. I went up for a ride and I never went back. Like a river that don't know where it's flowing, I took a wrong turn and I just kept going. Everybody's got a hungry heart. Everybody's got a hungry heart. Lay down your money and you play your part. Everybody's got a hungry heart. Oh, I met her in a Kingstown bar. We fell in love, I knew it had to end. We took what we had and we ripped it apart. Now here I am down in Kingstown again. Everybody's got a hungry heart. Everybody's got a hungry heart. Lay down your money and you play your part. Everybody's got a hungry heart. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Everybody needs a place to rest. Everybody wants to have a home. Don't make no difference what nobody says. Ain't nobody like to be alone. Everybody's got a hungry heart. Everybody's got a hungry heart. Lay down your money and you play your part. Everybody's got a hungry heart. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, 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 oh. There you go.
That's the best I can do.
That's awesome.
Everybody's got a hungry. That's a good tune.
Everybody knows that. Well, everybody, but most people will recognize that song for sure.
98.7% of the
I
population.
think so, yeah. Right.
Something like that. So is there anything that you want to talk about? Like, I'm doing all the questions here.
Oh, wow. I mean, other than, I guess, I could make a little plug for a show coming up, maybe.
Yeah. Do you have any shows coming up? I mean,
Yeah.
in breaking news,
One, we're going to be playing at Hank's Tavern out in Bradwell on Friday, April 16th. It'll be an acoustic show with myself and Rob, who's my musical cohort. And so we'll be out there, and we start about 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and we play for 2 or 3 hours. And just acoustic, as there's no dancing, and we have masks on and the whole 9 yards, but we will be out there on that night. So it's just a short drive from Saskatoon or surrounding area. So come on out and have a couple of drinks and just have some fun with us. We've been there before. It's lots of fun.
Hank's Tavern, April
16th. Friday, April 16th.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Other than
that, I'm hoping that some stuff will come up for the summer at this point. And we're pretty hopeful. There's nothing too much yet as far as festivals and whatnot. So we're not really sure how the vaccines are going to come in and how it's all going to pan out. But we're hoping we have some more shows this summer. So if everybody can just keep up with us on our Facebooks and our Twitters and our websites and all that, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's just, at this point, it's just following what the government regulations are right now, and going with what they say is best for us. And I agree that some of the things that they have done may not be the best of interest, but who knows? They're the experts. So if they're keeping population safe by the most part, yeah, and everyone's done their part by so far staying home and staying healthy, and numbers are down, Now they're going back up, but we won't talk about that. That's in news all the time, every day.
Yes, we get a lot of that, but yeah, we're just hopeful that it will just kind of play itself out. And we can get back to normal as soon as possible. That's what we're hoping for, anyway.
Okay, so I also have your website here. It's Tommy John. How do I see your last name?
Ehman.
Ehman. I was
Ehman. There you go.
Ehman. Ehman. Okay, perfect.
Thank
There's
you.
like 4 or 5 different ways to say my last name too. That's why I just go with Jared Lee. So J-H-E. Let's go with this. Let's have a heart to heart. You're an awesome songwriter. You're a great guy. I've met you and you put on quite a show. You're high energy. You've been doing this for a while. So I mean, you're laying the foundation. You're a vet, if you want to call it. I'm a rookie. You're good. I'm average. You're great. I'm good.
Come on now.
This is my heart to heart.
You're doing pretty darn good, man. Pretty good.
Thank you for being on my show. I really appreciate it. And there was a couple of people that dropped off and flaked out, but that's their own stuff. But thank you for being on the show. Really, truly appreciate it. Anytime I get to interview anybody and see how things are going in their world, makes me feel like I'm not alone in this, and we aren't. So let's just keep going and keep music going, and can't wait to virtually see you at the awards. And congratulations on the nominations, and best of luck to you, brother. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate you, Jared, having me on, and just keep this going. I think it's fantastic what you're doing. I thought about having my own show too, and I just, I hadn't put all the pieces together. So what you're doing is really cool. You just keep going, and eventually you'll be having Michelle Wright on your show. I know it.
Ooh, that'd be awesome. I mean, I've reached out to some people that are way above me, and I'm like, I know you're gonna say no, but here's a little shot at the dark. I got a little show called the Backstage Pass, where it's an artist to artist interview. We get to talk about music, life, and people. I've got shut down. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm not big profile. It's not like I'm on Jimmy Fallon or anything. But there was one show or a couple of shows that you were on that I actually wanted to talk to you about. Let's talk about those.
That I was on.
Yeah, I was just reading your bio here, and your bio said you were on. Let's see, not a couple of shows, but. Can I go to your website here again?
I'm drawing, other than
blank.
Being out at Lake Joe.
Music festivals. Oh, yeah. Okay. What was that about?
You were talking to me mentioning earlier about being out at Lake Joe. Well, Lake Joe is a camp for the visually impaired, which I am. So I went there to work to be a part of their I Factor shows when they were.
Oh, I Factor. I thought that was like, okay, that's for the blind. I get it now. It's a play on words. Yes. I Factor. Okay.
Factor, yes.
Gotcha.
So it was just an amazing experience to be there, and it was with some other people that were visually impaired, and we put on a show, and we were raising money for the CNIB, and myself and Robbie went twice to that, and it was just like a really amazing experience. So like being able to do things like that because of music that's just a big bonus.
Yep. Yeah. That's huge. So once again, just thank you for being on the show. I got your website up here if you guys want to follow music, and it's got all your socials on there. It's got a good bio. It's got some news, basically where to follow you and what, your shows and everything that's up and coming. Looks good. The gallery looks good. Bookings, contact, where to contact you, where to get a hold of you, and all that great stuff. So once again, thank you, brother. I really, truly appreciate you being on the Backstage Pass. And I want to thank everybody out there who's listening right now. There's no other place that you picked other than right here to be with us. So there we go.
Hey, thanks,
so if there's nothing else, brother, we'll see you at the awards virtually, and we'll end the night here. And thank you again so much for being on the show. Really, truly appreciate it, Mr. Tommy John Ehman.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you down the road. Thank you.
All righty, buddy. So there you go, guys. Great songwriter, powerhouse of an artist, a guy I look up to. And we're actually in the same SCMA organization, Saskatchewan Country Music Association. He's up for Male Artist of the Year, and he's also up for Songwriter of the Year. So we'll end it off at that. Thank you guys for coming out for another awesome episode of the Backstage Pass with yours truly, Mr. Jared Lee. Thank you guys, and we'll see you again next week. I have a very special artist. He's a hip-hop artist. His name is Winston. Stun is his name. Check him out next Saturday on the Backstage Pass.
Turned down, you couldn't see his eyes. There was a click by the sound of his hooves. Some say he even floats when he moves. the day the devil had come to town. Yeah. He got the whole damn bar around.